coming, everybody. I know we've still got people coming in, but it seems like it's time to get started so we don't go too late past our ending time. I have a feeling that we might go past 3 o'clock anyway, so if anybody needs to duck out early, just, make your way out the door when the time comes. So I'm Elizabeth Morrow. I'm an independent art installer here in Seattle. I've been doing freelance art installation for over 25 years, if you can believe that. And I've managed over the last years to work in most of the museums in the area. And we're thrilled that there are so many people here. We've got people here today from over a dozen different museums in the region, and reaching far and wide also. We've got people from all up and down the entire West Coast. We've got people from Bellingham, Tacoma, down to San Francisco. We skipped over Oregon apparently, and all the way down to LA. So we're excited that so many people were interested in our humble little offerings here in Seattle. And first things first, I'm going to tell you all where the bathroom is. It is diagonally across the main room here. Just look for the big neon pink elephant. Or wait, it's not the elephant, it's the tow truck, isn't it? Yep. It's the tow truck. Look for the big pink tow truck. And we've got the agenda written out here, so you can see what we're aiming for. Like I said, the timing might shift just a little bit. We're going to have the first two sessions on soft packing and LED lighting this morning, and then we'll break about 12:40 for lunch. And after lunch, everybody come back at 1:30, and we'll do the drawing for the door prizes, and you must be present to win, so that's a motivation to get back on time. And then we'll move into our last session on media. And after the workshop is over today, you're all welcome to go visit the galleries free of charge. Compliments of Moahi today. So for those of you who don't know, PACCIN stands for Preparation, Art Handling, Collection, Care, Information Network. Kind of a mouthful. There's a whole bunch of different type of people that are members of PACCIN. We're art installers, crate builders, mount makers, commercial art shippers, conservators, registrars, and exhibition designers. And I know we have people from all those different types of fields here today. On our Facebook page, our tagline is PACCIN Folk, making the highly improbable happen on time and safely with a shocking level of consistency. So we host a conference in a different city every other year with all sorts of workshops and sessions that are applicable exactly to the things that we do. It's pretty cool to hang out with in a room full of over 100 people, art handlers who speak our same language. It's pretty phenomenal. Next year, the conference is going to be in Texas, so I encourage you all to check that out. We're working on creating more local workshops like this one in cities around the world, and we're offering training sessions and online webinars as well. So PACCIN is really growing right now, and it's pretty exciting. So I brought some publications that PACCIN has produced in the past. On the back table, you're welcome to take a look at those. You can see the kind of technical experience that our members have. And Brent Powell, who is the president of PACCIN for years, has recently published a great handbook. So you can see that back there as well. And another thing that I included in your packets is a handout on the PACCIN website. And the website gets thousands of hits every single day from people around the world. It's pretty amazing, thousands of hits every day. There's an incredible variety of professional articles covering everything from reusing old crates to rigging to building a simple brass mount. There's also a comprehensive resource list that explains what different packing materials are used for and where you can buy them. I also brought some samples of different types of packing materials because I know Mike and Chad are going to discuss some of those things in their soft packing talk. and I thought not everyone would be familiar with those items, so you're welcome to take a look at those on the back. And then Sean also brought some stuff, resources about LED lighting, and you're welcome to take a look at those on the back table there. If you'd like a copy of any of those handouts, please write your name on the handout and he'll make copies and get those to you. And please don't take any of the stuff on the back table, it's for everyone to look at. And if you want copies of stuff, like I said, get in touch with Sean or me. So I also included a handout called Join the Discussion on the PACCIN listserv. And we have a really active listserv where the community can go to ask peers for advice on technical details in areas of installation and packing and transportation and lighting. Messages posted on the listserv go directly into the inboxes of over 1,200 working arts professionals. I printed an example of the dialogue that went around on how to transport crates in a truck at an angle if your truck isn't big enough, if your crate is too big to fit into the truck. So it's a pretty fascinating discussion and interesting to take a look at that. So PACCIN is also working to improve the working conditions for people like us, for art handlers, by educating museum administrators about the fact that we are a highly skilled workforce, and also standardizing job titles and job descriptions. We've also got efforts on the horizon for labor union organizing and developing national standards in alliance with museum training programs and commercial art handling companies. So we're really trying to let people know what we do and gain some recognition for what we do, which will help us all in the pocketbook eventually, hopefully. So today you are attending our first official PACCIN training workshop here in the Pacific Northwest. And thanks, Dan, one of the presenters. We're excited to introduce Fiona Gurney, who's in the back there behind the camera. She has generously offered to videotape our session today. She came up from Olympia to do this for us today. She's a student at Evergreen, studying media production and enhancing her skills for her freelance audio engineer and sound tech gigs. So, thank you, Fiona. And I also want to thank the Bellevue Arts Museum, who agreed to loan us the video equipment the day before yesterday when our initial source fell through. So that was a great last-second bonus for us. And Christine Kolodge is Moahi's event manager, and she put in a lot of time with Charles, who's in the back at the soundboard, to ensure that our video today would have excellent sound. So I really want to give a shout out to them. So after today, the videos of the sessions will be posted on the PACCIN website along with the handouts. So anybody around the world will be able to see what you are participating in today. So with that, I'd like to invite Mike and Chad up to the front for our first session this morning on soft pack tactics and dangers. And Mike Hascall is one of a group of artists who founded Artech in 1977. This is Mike. Artech specializes in installation, packing, crating, transportation, and collection management. And Fiona, it's time to start the video. They are one of only 2 climate-controlled art storage facilities in Seattle. Mike has had numerous full-time positions with the company since its inception, including running the company with Ann Obrey from 1987 to 2002. And as is the case with many of us working in the arts, he is also an artist. He last showed with Linda Ferris Gallery from 1986 to 1995. And Chad Wasser is the CEO and president of Artech. Prior to Artech, Chad worked for a handful of commercial art galleries in Southern California, and he joined Artech 10 years ago and started as an art installer. He was promoted to managing the packaging and crating department and installation departments before moving to the administration in 2011. He's been involved in establishing company standards, company training, and has acted as the primary technician on large museum jobs and private collections. So, there you go, guys.
Thank you. I don't really need this except for the video, so we'll use it. This wants to be a conversation because we could go through our slides in 10 minutes. So I think at every point, materials, particular ways of moving something. We want to hear from you. Please raise a hand so we're not all talking together, but I think it's easier to do that than to wait till the end.
Also, Elizabeth called out that we all speak the same language here, but especially in some of these topics, I think we all might have colloquial terms for them. So if you need disambiguation or have another term, you should speak up.
I do too. So this is about getting your work from here to there. Soft packing is not the loan going to Paris, but what we all do to get it safely from the owner's house, the museum, to some intermediate point, or a local loan. Or sometimes US art going cross country can be soft packed, but less and less that would be something that wasn't too vulnerable. So we're talking about, and we all know how we've been in a place without the right materials or enough boxes, and that's critical. Your prep time, your site visit is the way to deal with that. Of course, we all know that we don't get a site visit all the time. So, closer? Okay. So, packing theory, and we've all been there.
So you always want to pack to the object, and when we're talking about packing, there's all sorts of risks you're mitigating, and you're mitigating humidity, pest egress, dozens and dozens of risks. Soft packing doesn't handle those. Soft packing handles transportation and handling risks only. So for the remainder of this, we're assuming that your transportation is taking care of temperature and humidity. You are using trained handlers. As Mike said, this is not crating. This is not archival housing. This is sort of how to handle and move fragile objects. So we're packing to the object. Our industry can be very guilty of thinking in terms of modular solutions and applying those solutions. And sometimes if you bring the solution before evaluating all the risks, you can wind up in a risky situation. So you're always going to evaluate the object, evaluate the risks, and pack to those risks. Material should be informed by the shape, weight, and composition of the object. I'm sure we've all picked up a box that has something too small and too heavy right in the center, things like that, where you don't want to use the wrong packing materials. You can introduce more risk than the packing is trying to mitigate. Packing design should be dictated by the object's inherent strengths and weaknesses. We're going to have to find points to brace. We're going to have to look at surface. Burnishing is a risk, and so again, these are all before we pick it up and put it in its container. We're making evaluations about the inherent values of the object. Pack with the unpack and repack in mind. That's particularly true of soft packing, where it can look more benign on the receiving end. That if it's just a box and you've put some hidden surprise in, that there's a tab you have to pull or